All right, guys, it is Sunday night again, January the 21st, 2018, Sunday night service with Danny.
And Dr. Motley. And we want to
Sunday night. Cheers to Sunday night. He's
Sunday
still
night.
not drinking much, but
just a little bit.
Tiny bit. All
Just
right,
a
let's
tiny
do it.
bit.
Sunday night. It's good. It's red wine. We were not going to have any wine tonight, but I have it all meal prepped and everything for tomorrow. I'm making a huge beef stew.
Are you?
In the crock pot, and it calls for wine. I was like, well, heck, I got to open it.
I was like, why is there less wine?
Oh, yeah, right. So we are
talking
talking about methylation tonight. Actually, he's talking about methylation. I'm talking about veggie steaming. And so here I am certified. Stephanie is certified. There we go. Vaginal steam facilitators. And you guys, I have some very exciting news. I picked up today the very first of our cloaks.
Ooh, yes.
Oh my gosh. You all can't see
man.
this, but this is gorgeous. They are gray and they've got this lace overlay and they'll come right up here. You won't have anything on. They are absolutely beautiful. Look how long they are. They look like these gorgeous ball gowns. And this lady's making them for me. She's wonderful. And Kelly, Kelly Mallory. I can't remember who actually told me about it. Oh, I'm so excited about them. They're gorgeous.
They are beautiful.
The herbs are ordered. The chairs are being built as we speak. They're made locally here in Franklin by Cypress Wood. So excited. Oh, you can wear one too.
Cypress Wood.
Cypress. Yeah, they're made Cypress. So we've got gorgeous chairs. We have oh yeah, it's going to be so exciting. I'm so excited. Somebody stopped me and Carrie Dodd did in Whole Foods today and we were talking about it. Yeah. So it's going to be really great. Okay. So that's that.
Yep.
Yeah. Got that done. Let's see. Oh my goodness. The thyroid. Oh, well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Tuesday, January the 30th, I will be leading a Votiva seminar at Grace Point Healthcare. And it's under the events and you need to sign up. You need to show. This is for any woman that has any sort of sexual dysfunction, right? Votiva is the only FDA approved procedure for female sexual dysfunction or vaginal dryness, urinary incontinence when you sneeze or laugh or what have you. So this is Tuesday, January 30th. You can sign up or you can call Grace Point at 599-6868 and sign up for that. And somebody's going to win a free treatment that night, $2,900. $2,900 for 3 treatments. Yeah, it's for 3 treatments.
You guys got to go.
Yeah, you need to go to that. You need to show up for darn sure. Beautiful. And then Kelly Shannon, I don't know if Kelly's on or not right now, but I was at LifeWave Rejuvenation Center yesterday morning. You know, the table.
Yep. Yes, great.
Oh my goodness. It is so unbelievable for stress and for tension patterns. And I was a little stressed after my thyroid ultrasound and all that on Friday. So Kelly was working out with me. Kelly's a great trainer and we'll post the link up there to that. And I'm really, if you've never been to LifeWave, you need to go check it out. You need to talk to Kelly. You need to lay on that table. Those of you that have been on the table, have you been on it or have you not? Yeah, it's absolutely
it's like
fantastic.
Walking on a cloud after you get done.
Oh,
it's like really, literally.
Yeah, it is. I've never felt anything like it. So I'll share the link up here. Kelly's on right now, and if you have any questions, hello, Kelly. She'll answer the questions for you. But I love them, and I love what they do over there, and I love Ian. And Kelly does an unbelievable job at what she does. Also, Louise, you're on. Thank you so much for my birthday present. So Louise Davis gave me this for my birthday.
Aww.
And because I'm trying to be dairy free as well. And so as she has highlighted some pages and Ella's gone through here. So I can't wait to start cooking here. Thank you so much, Louise. I appreciate it. And then Friday night, because while we're waiting for everybody to get logged on, that's what I'm going over all the housekeeping. This Friday night is the Hashimoto support group meeting with Dr. Gillian Guren, chiropractor, and she's going to be talking about living your next 100 years healthy.
Oh,
and
great.
Full of vitality. Yeah, I'm excited.
At Nashville Restorative Dentistry.
It'll be at Nashville Restorative Dentistry, and the event is on here, so all you have to do is go over to events and like it. Let us know if you're coming. But, okay, Now that we've got several people on here.
Okay.
So Dr. Pascal Dauphine is an endocrinologist that I just absolutely adore, and I refer to him a lot. And I said, you know, I need a thyroid ultrasound. I've never had one, and I need a bone density scan. I'm 52 years old as of Thursday, and I'm 2 years behind. Holy cow. So many of you saw the video that I shared, which was live in there. I had no idea. There's my thyroid ultrasound, which you can't really tell, but there's a 9-millimeter thyroid nodule on the left lobe of the thyroid. I had no idea. And it's flat. It's flat. It's perfectly round. There's no calcifications, no, blood flow to it. And she told me that about 50 to 75% of all people have thyroid nodules, but they don't know it.
Yes.
Right? So I had no idea. I was a little shocked. There's a tiny 2-millimeter one on the right, and it was strictly preventative. I send him a lot of patients, and I said, hey, I need an ultrasound. And so they did it. I just wanted to see what was happening in there. I had no idea. So big wake-up call. So I've got my frankincense. I am using frankincense like crazy.
So you're rubbing on the areas where you have it, like all over the
That's
thyroid,
exactly right. And once again, if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for Danny Williamson. So I am pouring frankincense.
It smells good.
Oh, it smells good. You want some? You never know. It won't hurt you either. Woo-wee. So anyway, prayers that goes down. And
great.
then while I'm laying there, because I'm active, right? I work out. I do things. I had my DEXA scan, my bone density, and here I am in the red, osteopenia. Right. And I mean almost osteoporosis in the lumbar spine.
Oh, man.
Yeah, negative 2.1. So I am in the middle of weight training. I am in the middle of building these bones up. I'm starting, I'm starting vitamin K27, megaquinone, because K27 is the #1 treatment in Japan for osteoporosis.
Oh,
so vitamin K2 takes calcium out of the arteries and lays it down on the bones to make the bones stronger. So that's what I'm starting, as well as weight training. Kelly's going to be working with me as well. And then I'm not a big calcium lover, so I'm not going to, he wants to start me on medicine. He said, you need to consider bisphosphates. I said, well, no, I'm not going to do that yet.
Not yet.
But they tried to scare me into it, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So I will let you all go with this on this journey. We're going to re-scan the thyroid in 6 months, and then we'll do another bone density in a year.
It's going to be great. And when you see that you reverse that stuff, it's going to be awesome.
He's going to say, how'd you do that?
He's like, because I'm smart and I'm Danny Williamson and I know my stuff. She says
so anyway, oh my goodness. Okay, we've got a lot of people on here. Now, next Sunday night, we will not be here.
I won't be here because I am ruining
because of him. It's his fault.
I have to go to a conference in Phoenix, and I won't be back in time. So I try to get my flight changed, but I can't avoid it. It's for hours.
It's okay, but the next week, you know what we're talking about? We're talking about sex. I am so excited. I am so excited about this. Why not? It's the weekend before Valentine's, right? And so this is a big deal. Do you know that only 20 to 30% of all healthcare providers ask their patients about sex?
Yeah.
Are you having it?
I didn't know that.
Is it good? Do you have a libido? Have you ever had a libido? What's happened? You know, do you like your husband? Do you love your husband? Do you like your wife? Are you mad at your wife? We're talking about sex in 2 weeks, and I am so excited.
Me too.
I've got yoni steaming and sex all on the brain over here. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be.
I laughed. Get it? Yeah.
So I don't know what he's going to contribute. Probably about as little as I'm going to contribute tonight to MTHFR. But I'm excited. We got a lot of people watching right now, and we're going to talk about MTHFR. Oh, good Lord, the mother effer gene that they say. Well, that's what it sounds like to me, right? So,
she's pulling them all out. Smocks, veggie steaming, sex.
Woo! Wait. So, 30 to 50%, it is believed that 30 to 50% of all people have some sort of MTHFR mutation.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
30 to 50%. Yeah. Millions of people have no clue. No clue they have an MTHFR mutation. I personally have one. I have a heterozygous 677T. So what we have are 677T and 1298C. Those are your MTHFRs, right? And then you go down to all the SNPs, right? Which he's going to discuss all of that. What I am going to talk about is it was discovered, MTHFR, we haven't known about this forever, and I didn't know this, was discovered during the completion of the Human Genome Project in 2003. Did you know that?
I did not know
So
that.
the
No.
Human Genome Project through the National Institute of Health, which is an amazing website, went on for I don't know how many years, but in 2000, it's where they mapped out the entire human genome, all of the DNA in our bodies.
Mhm.
It's fascinating. And that's when they discovered MTHFR, and they would discover that patients who had this genetic mutation, they had a higher likelihood of things like cardiovascular disease, depression, anxiety, autoimmune diseases, maybe dementia,
Mhm.
Alzheimer's,
Mhm.
ADD, ADHD. It's fascinating. And so when that was discovered, then of course we started, because I didn't know anything about this. I mean, I'd never heard of this in 2003.
I never even heard about it.
I didn't hear about it
years
during
ago.
my 3 years in
ago.
school at Vanderbilt. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
They never once mentioned MTHFR. So I don't do a lot with MTHFR. He does a whole lot with it. I check it, and I know how to use B vitamins to help you feel better, but that's about as far as I go with it. And so when we talk about, and what I'm going to talk about is the 677T, which is what I have. If you have one copy of it or two copies of it, but mainly two copies, so a homozygous mutation, right?
Yep.
Both parents.
Which
homozygous means
I
it
have.
came from both parents. Is that what you have?
Homozygous, yeah.
Homozygous 677.
Mhm.
So you're homozygous.
I'm homozygous.
I'm a heterozygous. Okay, there we go. Increased risk of cardiovascular disease, elevated homocysteine levels, strokes, migraines, miscarriages, neurotube defects in your babies, right? They say that with a homozygous 677T mutation, you have up to a 16% increased ability to have increased chance of cardiovascular disease.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's
Wow.
pretty fascinating,
Wow, yeah.
right?
It is,
And then homozygous 1298C, increased fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, fatigue, pain, schizophrenia, mood issues, depression, anxiety, things like that. So 1298 is associated more so with psych things,
Mhm.
right?
With the brain and stuff.
With the
yeah,
brain,
with
and then
the brain.
677T more so with cardiovascular,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Okay, now that's where I'm going to leave it, and he's going to take it over from here.
What?
Yeah.
You guys like it? Good stuff.
No, well, I mean, that's good stuff. That's good to know, And what is it that Dr. Hyman, that I've been watching the Broken Brain series, and I'm sure many of you all have tonight as well, or
I'm
this
recommending
week.
that. That's great.
Oh,
I
it's
need
great.
to watch it. I haven't watched
Oh
it.
my goodness, it's fantastic. And tonight is on anxiety and depression. So as
Oh,
soon as this
man.
is over, I'm gonna turn it on and
Wow.
watch
Is it on Netflix or
No,
what?
it's on YouTube.
YouTube. Okay. So I need to start checking that out.
Yeah,
That's
I
really
can't
great.
wait to watch it tonight. We've got
That's
the
really
playoffs on. We've got the Broken Brain. We've got this. We've got a lot going on
We
tonight.
got sex. We've got
Well, I don't have any,
Smots.
but I'm glad you do. Yeah, I'm good. I'm so
Good.
glad you do. Rub it in. All right. Okay, let's start talking. They're watching.
okay.
I'm going to look at my notes here.
We wanted to do is when we talk about this, we wanted to also have it where you guys throw in your questions here in a bit. And we know
Yes.
that we don't want to get too complicated or too technical. We just know that people who are joining in want to know just the basics of MTHFR. And if they do
Yes.
have it, what are some of the steps? Like Danny has some stuff she's going to show that you can take or start to take or recommend that you can use to help with the symptoms. So symptoms, as Danny had talked about, the symptoms of MTHFR. And MTHFR means methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. And all that means, it's a fancy word for an enzyme. But if you ever have symptoms or know somebody with symptoms of cardiovascular disease, no worries, cancer, diabetes, neurological disorders, autism, people who are on the spectrum of autism, like Asperger's, chronic fatigue syndrome, Alzheimer's. We talk about Alzheimer's a lot, and when we talk about Dr. Bredesen's book, infertility, allergies, immune deficiencies, and digestion. These are all that mood disorders. When she talked about ADD, ADHD, anxiety, depression, and even our aging. All these symptoms or all these things are affected by the MTHFR gene. So when we talk about that gene, the defects in these in the gene itself, it's a gene and it also creates an enzyme. It creates these symptoms. it's very important to us. This is the reason why, because it helps us to respond to stress. That gene in itself is one of the main genes that help us to respond to any type of stress in our lives, in our environment. And that gene helps us respond to stress through the process or through the cycle called methylation. So when you hear Danny and I talk about methylation, you have to imagine the cycle. Just think about a big circle, and MTHFR is a gene that helps run that cycle. And it helps. So we're going to talk, it's the methylation cycle. This is a cycle which is ran by the MTHFR gene. And it's very important because it gives our bodies the ability to detoxify, to build our immune function. This is even more important, produce bodybuilding proteins such as creatine. So it actually can build up the heart, build up the muscles. It helps maintain your DNA repair. Very simple stuff. Maintain your DNA repair. Helps with energy production such as Krebs cycle. And it also helps with mood balancing. And that's one big thing that's in our office is mood balancing and control of inflammation. We talk about tons of inflammation within the digestive tract.
And that's all they're talking about on this broken brain. Inflammation, inflammation, inflammation.
Yep. And do you have any, I mean, like, I'm not trying to take anything away. If you had say something.
I don't have anything to say.
But the MTHFR gene.
Forever.
But the MTHFR gene contributes to that, and enzyme helps contribute to that. Now, methylation occurs billions of times a second.
Isn't that fascinating?
Billions of times a second in your cells, every second of the day, billions of times. And now, with all the symptoms and the function that this gene and cell affects and runs, it tells you that if you have a symptom that we just described before, like diabetes or neurological disorders, cancer, it just tells you there's a problem within the sequence of the steps in the cycle. So you know that there's a problem internally when a symptom's shown. That makes sense, right, guys? It's pretty simple. Now, I'm reading some of these off because, oh, come on. But I want to make sure that we cover all the steps. Can it all be helped? And when Danny and I have somebody come in with methylation, it can definitely be helped. The reason being is because with the proper application of certain supplements, what we're doing is we're bypassing the gene expression of the MTHFR gene. You're actually giving the body nutrients to bypass the defect or the mutation so that that the body doesn't express those symptoms. I hope that makes sense. You're throwing your body good nutrients, and so you're giving it the nutrients it always wanted to, but it couldn't because it had a defective enzyme.
Right.
So if you guys have questions, you guys can post them. I hope I'm not getting too ahead of you guys. But remember, MTHFR runs the methylation cycle. We're going to get to the fun stuff in just a second. But remember, like genes are stretches of your genetic information, right? And it helps give your body information and direction on how to run a process. That's what a gene does. Now, this is where you guys who've gone to Danny have come to me. This is where you guys will remember some of these words. The MTHFR gene helps make 5-MTHF, L5-MTHF. You know, when Danny gives you a 5-MTHF or I give you a 5-MTHF, that is the active form of folate, okay? It's a folate. Now, a defect in the MTHFR gene will cause an inability for the body to convert folic acid to folate.
That's correct.
Right? So you can't create folate. And the reason, and that's B9. B9's folate.
Yep.
So if you have a problem with B9, as Danny had mentioned before, that's where children have neural tube defects. They have spina bifida. They'll have anencephaly. They'll have fatal syndromes within children because they can't convert folic acid to folate.
Right.
And one of the biggest things I'd find, and then a general section of MTHFR is mood disorders. I think that's one of the biggest things that come into our practice. And
finally, the psych world is recognizing that patients need methylfolate and B6 and B12. And I mean, there are things on the market like Deplin and things that, and what the heck is that other one that the same Deplin people make? I can't remember. But anyway, and I'm not a big fan of Deplin, but it does work.
Yeah.
It works. Totally. But it's loaded with orange food coloring. And I have griped and carried on for 8 years about that. Yeah. And yes, but it does work. So they are acknowledging the fact that you need methylfolate, methyl B12 and B6, but Deplin's just straight up methylfolate.
Just methylfolate, because it
7.5 and 15 milligrams.
And it makes sense though, because what happens when you can't take folic acid and convert it to folate, you're just bypassing that and just giving your body straight folate to run the processes.
Right.
So MTHFR is a gene which creates an enzyme that helps your body create that process to where you change folic acid to B9. Now, we talked about spina bifida. Other ones we talk mood disorders like ADD, ADHD, Alzheimer type symptoms. We also have bipolar depression, and anxiety. Now, with MTHFR, the reason you can have these kind of brain issues is because folate is responsible. Now, this is the complicated part. Folate is responsible for converting homocysteine, which is an amino acid, to methionine. Now, we'll talk about that. Methionine is important because it produces glutathione.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
And remember from last week, glutathione is the master antioxidant. It is the one antioxidant that mops up every single free radical in your body. It is the master. It's unbelievable.
It's an unbelievable.
Glutathione. Yes.
Like when we do reduced glutathione or liposomal,
yep.
and we give you glutathione, it's because we know that your liver or if you do have MTHFR, has a hard time producing glutathione. So we give you glutathione to help your body out.
That's right.
So that methionine is converted to glutathione. Now, the other cool thing is that the liver then will take that methionine, right? It also takes methionine and makes SAMe. So when we give you SAMe, you're also you're making glutathione, and you're also with the folate, you're able to make SAMe, and SAMe is the master methyl donor.
Yeah.
And methyl now this is a complicated part. It creates CH3. But just follow me on this. When we talk about the symptoms.
Creates what?
The CH3.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a methyl group. Carbon with 3 hydrogen atoms attached to it.
I barely got through any sort of chemistry. Would that be chemistry?
It would be biochemistry. But when the liver makes the SAMe, it basically helps with the metabolic processes that bounce dopamine.
Yes.
Serotonin and melatonin.
Yeah.
So you get it like the folic acid, make it a folate, helps us with what? With glutathione production and the balancing of our neurotransmitters and our mood. Okay. So that's how important folate and the L5-MTHF is in this methylation cycle. Now, the brain also needs that methionine, that methyl group. The brain also needs it to help create myelin sheathing, which is the covering of the nerves, which is Alzheimer's and multiple sclerosis.
You bet. And I use SAMe a lot with pain patients.
Oh,
with my patients who have chronic pain, fibro, just pain in general.
Pain. Mm-hmm. And we just went through that to say this. The symptoms that were talked about, that folate conversion is so important, that it can all be helped by receiving the proper nutrients, like she just said. Sometimes B1, B6s, B9s, B12s. If you do them in the right ratio and give your body the right Bs, you can actually bypass that genetic mutation to help create folic acid to folate.
Yep.
And that's what MTHFR is. Now, I'm double homozygous. You're heterozygous.
I'm hetero.
So
Ella is a compound heterozygous. Gracious. So Ella has the worst mutation you can have. She has a copy from me. Well, I don't know. Well, she has to get one from her dad because I only have one copy. So she's got a 1298C and a 677T. So she's only got about a 10% ability to detox on her own, to methylate on her own.
That is hard.
It is hard. It's terrible.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, because like when you have a double compound, like when we talk about strokes or with heart attacks, for instance, my family, in our genetic past, we don't necessarily have a high amount of heart disease, but like my grandparents had some forms of skin cancers and cancerous activity. Oh. Now, the reason being, and there's another part of it, when that methyl MTHFR enzyme is defective and it's not converting, right? Your SAMe's defective. That means the SAMe's defective, the glutathione's defective. That I found this on the MTHFR. If you guys read about it, getting ahead of myself. SAMe also helps upregulate the vitamin D receptor. Now, this is important for her too. The vitamin D receptor is important to us because it helps increase our immune, helps fight osteoporosis. Ugh. It helps with autoimmune disease and helps with fertility. So,
well, I don't need that for dang sure. So.
We're talking about it next time, so we're going to talk about it. But
next week's or 2 weeks is going to be fun.
It's going to be great. But I'd say this: if we want, like in a nutshell, if you want to reduce inflammation, increase energy, help your mood, help your heart, basically help anybody that has these type of conditions, look into methylation and MTHFR and get it tested because I'm going to turn it over. We're going to start talking back and forth. I don't want to go too far into it, but now we can get back into supplements because I see you have some of those lined up. But with MTHFR, remember, if you can, we talked about the last time, if you have the right B vitamins, that means that you throw it into the cycle, and whether you're a homozygous or heterozygous determines if you can use a really hard-hitting vitamin B or a really slow-acting vitamin B. For instance, I can't do a very fast-acting vitamin B because I'm homozygous for it, whereas Danny could probably take any B vitamin she wants, because she'll be able to process it.
I can take any B vitamin. I have zero problem with supplement. The only thing I've ever had a problem with was DHEA. I told you,
Yeah,
mean, mad as a hornet. But
I want to see this.
I have not. No, you do not. I've never taken it again. I can take any B. I have no problems. But then we have those over methylators who take a little bit of B and boom, they just get even more anxious and they get jittery and they can't sleep and they have heart palpitations and things like that. So, you know, for my patients who have high homocysteine, because I check homocysteine on everybody, right? And I mean, that's a big predictor of cardiac inflammation and a future predictor of a cardiovascular event in your life. And we certainly don't want that. For me, what I use for that is I use Metagenics. I use their Methyl Care, and I love this. There we go. I absolutely love it. I think they've just redone it. They've renamed it. It used to be Vessel Care, and it's fantastic. I mean, see, look, I can't see.
Man. Yes, it has folate, L5 methyl tetrahydrofolate, which is the 5-MTHF. Has B12 as a methylcobalamin. And B6. B6 is so important for energy production in that and the Krebs cycle and your MTHF.
Oh, and B6 is so important for anxiety as well. I use a lot of B6 for my anxiety patients, just straight up P5P.
P5P. Like you like Pure Encapsulation the best?
I use their B6. Yeah, I use Pure Encapsulation's B6 I use it with vitamin C. B6. I use some magnesium with it. All of that for anxiety.
You know that stuff.
No, not really. I don't understand MTHFR a whole lot, but what I do know is that, you know, it's bees. And I tell you what, the greatest thing that I have used for MTHFR is this Neuroimmune Cream, which we private label it at the office. But this, I knew nothing about this, and we had it when I was at Cool Springs Family Medicine. But I have a patient about 4 years ago. No, it's been about 3 years ago. She said, Danny, my chiropractor started me on something that has completely changed my life, 100% changed the way I feel. And I said, well, what is it? And she said, it's this Neuroimmune Cream, and this is designed for patients with MTHFR. So it's 5 milligrams of methylfolate, 5 milligrams of B12, of hydroxy and methyl B12. So it's a combo. It's 2.5 of each. And then it's 1,200 international units of D3. And then it's 6 milligrams of B6. This is great. And it's transdermal. I was trying to pump it out. It's just open it up.
We'll get there,
it's transdermal, 1 pump twice a day. I'm telling you, people, this stuff is straight up energy.
And it
very rarely do I get somebody who can't tolerate it. But this is high dose bees, and I put it right here on my inner arms, 1 pump twice a day, which is a little, there we go. It's just like that. It's red because cobalamin is red.
Yes.
You know, and it smells great. I love this. This is my all-time favorite because remember, what you put on your body, you put in your body within 26 seconds flat.
And it just
so it bypasses the leaky gut if you happen to have a leaky gut. And if you've got no matter what you have going on with you, but you have to fix the gut, right? In order for any of these vitamins to work properly and for you to methylate properly, you've got to fix the leaky gut. It's the key to the whole thing. And I'm sitting there listening to this Broken Brain series, and that's all they're preaching. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. This is all I've talked about for years.
Yes.
If you don't fix that right there, that gut, you fix nothing else. Doesn't matter what kind of MTHFR mutation you have, whether you have one or whether you don't.
Exactly. The body's ability to absorb vitamin B from what you eat or from what you take is completely important.
Yes, Melanie, it is the best stuff ever. I agree. I love it, that Neuroimmune Cream. I mean, it's fantastic. So does Jen Hagen. She loves it. The pump, Kim, is called the Neuroimmune Cream right here. It's great. We have it on our website. We keep it in the office, but we have it on the website too. But any of your good bees, your B vitamins, and sometimes you have to play around with them, right? Sometimes, you know, methyl B12 is not what you need. You may need hydroxy B12 or...
And that's the beauty of that cream because hydroxy and
methyl.
They're slower burners. So it's just like you said, an over-methylator. If you gave them a methylcobalamin, which is a fast-acting, get your body, get some energy in there, help convert the homocysteine over to methionine real quick. But if you're like me, you need something slower because if I do take a fast burner, I'll over-detoxify. And that's where you start to feel bad, like you don't want to. And you can't drink as much wine.
Oh, you can't?
No, because remember, homocysteine is a sulfur-containing.
Oh, yeah.
So But like she was talking.
See, I don't have any problems.
She doesn't have any problems with that. So
there we go. Yeah.
But that cream is so great because it does bypassing the gut. If you have leaky gut, it is a hard thing to get rid of or to absorb it as much. So.
Correct.
And another point, I find that in the office sometimes that vitamin D receptors, if they're not activated, right, the vitamin D receptors are on the mitochondria in your cells. So the VDR is defective. So if you guys get a testing done, like, an MTHFR testing, if you get a genetic testing, look at your VDR, vitamin D receptor, and if you're homozygous or heterozygous recessive, that means your body has a hard time absorbing vitamin D. So that could be another double whammy if you have depression, anxiety, mood disorders, if you have fertility issues. And that just tells you that you're not able to, even if the SAMe is working, the methyl group's getting over the vitamin D receptor, you're still not able to absorb D. That's why if you have a blood test and you look at your blood test and it says my vitamin D is always low, even though I get sun and I'm taking high amounts of vitamin D, it raises slowly, or it doesn't raise at all because the receptor side on the cell is not active. And that's the beauty of the methyl B and the creams, that it helps start to activate that. So, and
Angela says, well, her head is spinning, so I know the feeling, Angela. It says, is it true that B12 can be high just because of having a homozygous 1298C mutation, even if we're not supplementing?
It can be high. Like if you have, depending on the type of B, truly, because if you're not supplementing with B12, that's what you're saying.
You're not supplementing.
Yes, because if you have B12 in any form, I mean, you may not be taking a B12 as a supplement, or you may not be taking it in a straight form of B12. But if you're getting it through your food or of any sort of anything like that, then if the receptors or if your cells are not able to uptake because of the defective gene, because remember, when you have a defective gene, you got to think about this way. The enzyme from the gene makes the enzyme attaches to the vitamin or the cofactor, and then it allows your cells to absorb it. And if you can't absorb the B, it'll stay floating in your blood. That's why you can have a high amount even though you're not supplementing. Now, so
then how would we get it into our?
Well, there's a lot.
I don't know.
There's a lot of ways to test. Right, like we have charts at our office that help us to. They have researched about what to give a person to help that body absorb and to bypass that genetic mutation. But there's a lot of testing out there, like Genetic Genie. Many of you have already probably heard about this. Genetic Genie is a good one. There's also LiveWello app.
Yeah.
What else have you, Chad?
Well, Chad Yarborough's testing is maximizedgenetics.com. Maximizedgenetics.com. And he does MTHFR testing.
Keep talking.
Yeah, he does. And so he's got a great test out. I'm not quite sure how much it is, and I don't think Chad is on here tonight, actually. I don't see him on here anywhere. Yes, you can save this after recording, Heather. It is saved, actually. We have the neuroimmune cream at the office for those of you that are asking, but it's also on our website. So if you go to DannyWilliamson.com and then under store, it's on the Integrative Family Medicine store, and it ships to you straight from Orlando. Kate and Evilo do that. We have it down there in a warehouse down there.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so... Okay, what else were you going to say?
I was going to say for the A1, for the question about the B12.
Yes.
I have another chart at home that has a little bit more information on that gene as well. It has more informative detail. So I'll look at that and I'll give you more information later on tonight when I get there. I'll post it on Facebook for you.
Why you would have elevated B12 if you're not taking
supplementing
B12.
it. Yeah. I have another chart that goes deeper into that enzyme.
Dr. Patrick Murphy, who's an oncologist, a hematologist oncologist in this town, I used to call him when I'd have these elevated B12 levels on patients and they weren't supplementing. And he said, Danny, for the most part, don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. For the most part, it's a water-soluble vitamin. Right now, it can be a problem with liver. Of course, he never said to me, oh, their liver may not be detoxing or they may have an MTHFR. He just said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it so much if they don't have liver issues going on. It's okay.
It's okay. Like usually, unless, I've had people that had high amounts of it and never really seemed to mess up my process or my signals.
Right.
Because I do believe that when you're working with MTHFR, remember, it's just, MTHFR is just one cycle, but that one cycle affects every biochemical reaction in the body. Now, I will say that when we are supplementing, or we're giving you different supplements like vitamin C, vitamin D, and vitamin A, and things of that sort.
Yes.
Like that's also curbing the effect of having, like if you had too much B12, giving you different supplements helps sort of balance the whole. It's like a symphony. It's like you're balancing the whole system with those extra supplements.
Correct. And so, I would prefer to get your B vitamins, your B9, your B12, your B6, things like that from your food, right?
Yes.
Your green leafies, right? Your meats, your dairy, if you can eat dairy, which I'm finding out it's not working for me anymore, but your dairy, your soy, actually, right? If you eat clean soy.
If you eat clean soy.
I mean, I don't know any clean soy around here. Maybe there is, but I don't know any. But fish, beef, turkey, beans, nuts, chickpeas, liver, those are all really high, great sources of B6, right?
You are.
So chickpeas, I mean, we all love hummus. Well, I don't know about everybody, but I love hummus. B12, of course, your animal. So my vegetarians and my vegans in the office, we have a really hard time. Well, we don't have a hard time because we can supplement B12 easy. That's an easy thing to supplement. But they, as a rule, they've got low B12.
Yeah.
They really do, because they're not eating any meat. They're not eating any chicken or anything like that, or eggs or fish or dairy. No.
And it's very important with those individuals too. Like not only if they're a vegetarian, the body type, like me and Danny are thin body types. We have overactive thyroid hormones because we're thinner by nature. But even your body type determines like what types of food. Like you say, we need iron and we need meats. Our body types crave meat. We crave iron and things of that. Crave iron. Other body types don't. So diet and body types you need to study that too. It's a lot to take in. Go ahead.
Well, I was looking here. Sherry says, do you recommend having testing prior to starting cream or supplementation? And Sherry, I'm not sure. That is an excellent question because it's tricky. Insurance most of the time will not pay for MTHFR testing. They say it's experimental, right? And it's several $100s. I don't know how much Chad's testing is. I always assume everybody has an MTHFR mutation, especially people that come see me and you, because people don't feel good and come see us. We don't get the people that feel great. We get the people who've been sick for decades. So I always start them low on B vitamins. I'll do 1 pump a day of this for a while and see how they react. And then I'll bump them up to 2 pumps a day. So I used to test all the time back when insurance was paying for it. Before I opened my own practice, of course, they quit paying for it then. I would test everybody, but now I really don't test very few people, right? I just give them B vitamins. And then if they don't react well, they're not going to react well anyway. If I'd known they had MTHFR or not.
Yes.
Right.
And I've seen that people that when they do test or take B vitamins, like we'll have them take cyanocobalamin or methylcobalamin. You sort of switch up the B vitamins, see which one works. At our office, because I do a lot of kinesiology type testing, right when they come in, that when they're chronically sick, I pretty much assume that they already have an MTHFR.
Yes,
and the reason being is because they don't have the immune system or the ability to fight off the autoimmune or the inflammation, which are all parts of the MTHFR gene. And so I test. Do I send off as much? Not as much anymore because with our testing, we have a different way of testing. But I'm the same way. We test and see what's strongest for the body, which B vitamin. And I am the same way. I start them off very low. I actually will say if the body requires or wants, let's say, 2 vitamin Bs a day, I almost go down to 1 a day or 1 every other day. I say we start you off slow and see how your liver responds. That's how I do it at the office.
Somebody's asking about vitamin D, large amounts of vitamin D. They're taking large amounts but still have low levels.
That's the VDR receptor. If you look on the charts, though, and if you study it, and if you go any further, if you do your own research, getting testing. Now, I'm going to go back to testing to answer the question before and after. You can do easy testing if you go to Ancestry.com. It actually works a little better than 23andMe.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Why?
Because the amount of codes. Now, I am not the electronic computer expert.
Ancestry.com.
Ancestry.com.
Look what I have.
Yes, Ancestry.com. It's perfect.
I just have 4 of these. I just bought 4 of these. One for me, Jackson, Ella, and my dad for his birthday because he's going to find it fascinating.
It is so
Ancestry.com.
It's great. Ancestry.com has you can now get more information than the 23andMe. So you can spend, I think, what is it, guys? Maybe $79 or $80 something, maybe up to $100 on the testing, and you can order this. And then when you get this and order it, they'll send you the raw data, and then you can take that and find different genetic MTHFR or genetic coding applications online and put that raw data in there, and it will tell you all your genetic SNPs. So a SNP is called a single nucleotide polymorphism, which basically means a mutation. So when you get that Ancestry.com, you can find all your mutations, and it is amazing because you'll go down those genetic SNPs, your mutations, and you'll go back in your genetic past and go, yes, my grandfather had heart disease. And if you have a homozygous, it doesn't mean you're going to have heart disease. It means if you don't supplement right, you have a higher risk of getting heart disease. And that's how this all works. Now, the vitamin D receptor, and that's by having testing prior to starting the creams. That's the way you can test before. You can go on Ancestry.com and send it in, and you can get all the information. And it'll even tell you on these websites what each of those SNPs mean. So you don't have to look far. It'll tell you all the info.
I thought this was just going to tell me about
where you're from.
Yeah, where I'm from.
Much more. Because,
are you serious?
Because, and I'm not knocking 23andMe.
I think it's going to be a surprise where I'm from.
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out.
When you find out where you're from, it's amazing. And you would not believe how much genetic coding you have. Like, you'll get a list of all the numbers, all the codes, all the nucleotide, like the ADT, G, all that stuff, or ACTG, sorry. But when you look at it,
I don't even know what that means.
Well, remember,
ACTG.
like when you get all the coding, the main codes you're going to get is going to get for your genetic SNPs. But some scientists said a lot of all these genes were junk genes, but they weren't. They're genes that deal with your emotions.
Like those are not junk genes.
Not junk
I've got
genes.
some emotions. I can tell you that.
Look into it. But I hope, Sherry, that answers your question. You get your testing prior to the Ancestry.com. And then if your vitamin D is low and you're still taking a ton of the vitamin D, then that clearly tells you probably have a methionine problem, or you're not taking homocysteine, convert it back. So definitely get MTHFR checked for that. That will help you a ton. And like you say, if you want to start taking Bs, if you take a B and it makes you jittery, or if it makes you stay awake, or you just feel lethargic or bad, change your B type and see if it helps.
Yeah, Ella sometimes feels tired when she takes B vitamins.
Oh, yeah, she does.
She can't drink caffeine. Really, it makes her really tired.
Shit.
What's that?
Okay.
What's wrong with her?
I would tell you,
that?
remember we talked about how
I can drink all the caffeine in the world.
You are such the bomb.
I am. I don't
She
have
is
any
the bomb.
problems. Apparently, I'm going to break a hip, a back, or something.
No.
And my thyroid's
We just
blowing
got to
up,
get
but I
your
feel
vitamin
good.
D receptor turned on a little bit more. Just got to get it turned on, you know.
Well, no, my vitamin D is 85.
You know, that's the thing.
I've got really great vitamin D.
That's going to be a good problem. We need to investigate you. Like, let me start investigating you. So
yeah.
If you talk about like caffeine,
people say that to me.
Oh my goodness, she makes me crack up. I'm trying to be serious.
I can't be serious about this stuff. I have no idea. I keep thinking I'm like part Neanderthal. I've got all kinds of stuff. I just know I do going on in here.
You're gonna have like some awesome thing.
I'm gonna spit in this thing tomorrow, and I'm gonna send it off because it's just a spit test, right? I haven't even opened it yet.
Well,
Dad, if you're watching, here's your Christmas or your birthday present.
You're gonna love it. You're not gonna believe, you're not gonna believe where you came from in some fashion, because I thought, I'm more Asian than I am Caucasian, so I found that out because there's a little bit of Native American, so it pushed me over the edge.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you're gonna love it, and you'll learn this. Like Ella can't do caffeine because caffeine is part of the glutathione process. Glutathione helps with a couple of the small enzymes called CYP, cytochrome P450. Part of the phase 1, phase 2. If you were at the detox seminar,
that
Brianne
night
gave, she talked about phase 1, phase 2, that CYP enzyme, and you'll get that all in your testing, and it'll tell you if you have a defect in it. And if you do have a defect, a recessive gene, that means that's why you're like, I can't drink caffeine, I can't do teas, or I can't take a lot of medications. See how it gives you information, and it gives that to everybody, whoever does it. I have Hashimoto's, can't take medications. Could that be a broken MTHFR?
Well, it could be, but yes, it certainly could be, without a doubt. What did April Hinton say? She's my hometown. Oh, she loves us. April, I love you. Can you
Oh.
believe this? From 1984 to now, who knew we were going to be talking about this?
About MTHFR.
I mean, I sold breast pumps and nipple cream for 11 years at Mums the Word Maternity. Then I turned around and became a nurse practitioner. I mean, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And
So Marcy, she says, so if I get the Ancestry.com test for my husband, we could tell if he has a genetic mutation.
I guess.
Yes, you can get it for your children. You can get it for your babies.
Anybody.
You can just spit in a tube. They send it off. It takes them about 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, good. We'll have it back by February.
Totally.
Sometime
We can
in
do that
February.
as a tester.
We'll do it.
It'll be
we'll
great.
Do it. We'll see what happens.
See what your pedigree is.
Yeah.
She's going to have
Straight up mutt.
oh whatever.
Right.
Fiery. It's going to be like what was it that you were at the retreat? You were a firefly.
Oh, yeah, it was a firefly.
You're the firefly, so she's going to be part of firefly. And so to answer the question, send it off to Ancestry.com, get it back, and then you can send us some questions. But again, there's a lot of places you can send them in applications on the net. You can pay usually it's donation based, but one of them is Genetic Genie. Try that one out. It's really good. And there is one called Prometheus. Guys, remember Prometheus, and it's an MTHFR support group, and they will tell you what every SNP does.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Prometheus.
And it takes a lot of the guesswork out. For instance, I had Lyme disease real bad. Okay, so this is a few years ago when I had Lyme. Now, if I had Lyme, the reason that another person in your family could have Lyme disease, but they don't show the symptoms as well, is because they don't have the MTHFR mutation like I did. I can't detoxify the toxins out of my liver, let's say like my brother can. So he could have higher amounts of Lyme than me, but he can get rid of the toxins.
Well, isn't that interesting? Because I did Lyme testing on me recently, and I have 4 bands positive, but I have no symptoms of Lyme disease.
Yeah.
And I don't have Lyme disease because you have to have 5.
Mm-hmm.
But at 4, I don't have any.
Because you had the genetic pool of a Greek goddess.
Apparently so.
Good.
Yeah, right?
Ladies
a big
and gentlemen,
curly-headed,
look,
red-headed, well,
it's like she
red-headed
has
now.
this genetic pool that she can just fight off infection. See, that's what I was saying before. You'll live a long time because that VDR and that genetic mutations at such a low rate that you're going to be able to absorb D and fight off the infection.
Okay.
That's the difference between when somebody comes to us, we're more interested in saying giving them more vitamins and minerals and always giving you something to fight off Lyme or always giving you something to fight off parasites. And the reason they keep coming back, even biofilm, the reason it keeps coming back is because there could be a SNP in that MTHFR, your vitamin D receptor, or the SAMe. It's just, I hope that makes sense, but it's really about raising your immune, getting your immune raised.
You do, right? Yeah. You have to get your immune system up. You have to decrease inflammation and you have to raise your immune system. And how do you decrease inflammation? Well, you have to control what you eat, right? You have to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. So
Completely.
you could have no MTHFR. You could be like me and just have one tiny, a heterozygous mutation. But if you don't clean the diet up, if you don't eat an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, if you don't cut the sugar out, the dairy, yes, and the gluten, those top 3 right there, you're never going to methylate properly. So you can take all of the stinking vitamins under the sun, every vitamin under the sun out there, every pill you can take right here. It does absolutely no good. You cannot supplement yourself to good health. Yeah. I'm just telling you right now. You can walk in my office, you can walk in his office with 49 supplements, and people do. But if you're eating a piss poor, packaged, processed, bagged, canned, tubed, fake food diet,
yes,
it does no good. That stuff is useless. Flat up useless. And the key is you have to heal the gut. I say this over and over and over. And the people who finally listen to it are the ones who end up feeling like rock stars.
Yes, and they come to you and they go the aha moment.
Oh, yeah.
I told you. You felt better from that, right?
Yeah, and so every time you open up that bag, that box, that frozen pizza, those Oreo cookies, those chocolate chip cookies, that whatever, Pop-Tart, toaster, strudels, drive-through, Taco Bell, what have you, you better think, is this going to heal me or kill me? Because if you actually have an MTHFR mutation and your ability to detox and to methylate is hindered already, that food is just adding to your inflammation. It's adding to your distress. It's adding to your illness.
Exactly right. It's like walking up or going up a hill carrying a load of rocks or a load of bricks, and every time you eat, you just keep piling on more bricks. It's going to take you a lot longer.
I mean, I got enough rocks over my shoulder from 52 years of relationships and things like that. I don't need any more from from bad food, right? But I mean, good Lord. So this is all great and it's all, technical and all of that. But the bottom line is you have to eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, decrease stress, decrease stress, and have community.
That's right. That's right. I completely agree.
And knowing all of this is fabulous, knowing where you come from, knowing what your SNPs are, knowing that you've got things down the line that are all, what have you. But, they say genetics is the gun, but environment pulls the trigger.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's because
genetics is the gun, but your environment pulls the trigger.
That's
well,
true.
Hello.
That's true.
So you got all of this. I mean, but we pull the trigger on it, which is the whole study of epigenetics, right? So there we go.
Look at you.
I'm coming in there now. I feel like I should stand up on something and preach. But the whole study of epigenetics means on top of your genes, correct? So you're not born with high blood pressure, with high cholesterol, with diabetes, with heart disease, with Hashimoto's. Not born with thyroid nodules or osteoporosis or osteopenia. I don't have osteoporosis. We turn that on through decades of dysfunction, decades of stress, decades of not eating well, decades of not exercising, of not sleeping, of not pooping, the whole thing. We turn it on. But what you turn on, you can turn off. Right. MTHFR or not. And I tell patients, they say, oh, I've got MTHFR. Oh my gosh, I've got MTHFR. I'm sorry. There's millions of us that have MTHFR. Mm-hmm. You are not your disease. You are not MTHFR. You are bigger than this. You are stronger than this. And do what it takes to get your body to methylate.
That's right. Because you just said it. Environment, stress. Remember, we just talked about how stress in our environment, how your body responds to stress. That's what we talked about, how it activates the MTHFR gene. Over years, you have trained your body, just like she said, to receive the stress. And you drained your body of nutrients because you stressed all the time and you ate bad food. And we all ate bad food. I'm saying ate the sugar. And our bodies try to accommodate and to adapt. And you stress that gene to a point where that gene goes, I've had it. I'm already defective. I'm mutated. I don't get enough B vitamins. Now I'm going to let all these other processes come to a halt. And that's when people say, well, I got to 35 and I just got sick right after that. Stress, environment, and then epigenetics. And it's a great study. If you guys want to do a great study on epigenetics, they say that what you can turn off, you can turn on. And when we talk about how our environment and how people around us and how negative people and how food or things come into our lives, we train our genes to respond to that stress. But the cool thing is like when Danny talks about speaking life over yourself and speaking positive, that the one frequency that has been shown to help turn off or turn on genes is in the voice range. They take lasers and they'll put voice frequency into those lasers and shine them into the body, and those go into the tissue and actually change genetic structure. Wow. So when they talks about in creation, how the voice, how things were spoken into existence, or how you speak life over yourself, or how you speak life into your children or into other people, is because you're actually changing their genes. And it's not just saying us, it's research has shown it. That's
where those words turn into swords.
I love that. I got
right. You take that S at the bottom of at the end of those words, and you put it right in the front and make swords out of them. And
that's right. That's right. And you can actually, there's no fault in anybody saying I'm speaking positive things to myself or other people to help heal themselves. There is complete power in words, and there are plenty of research behind it. I'm just saying, to speak life over yourself. Oh, there's so many questions. I know, Brooklyn, you're talking about the HLA and the DQ8 haplotypes for the celiac. Now, I don't research that one. I'm going to be honest with you that much. I need to research that more and more because there are so many SNPs. But that is one I will look into tonight. I will. I've got 2 things I need to research tonight, and I will read into it and see if I can answer you back on those. Okay? Really, I would like to do that. Megan asked you, if your first MTHFR test came back negative, is it worth retesting if you still seem to be presenting symptoms?
No, you won't. That MTHFR genetic mutations happen, Megan, from the moment you're conceived. Boom, right there. Conception, whether it was good or bad, boom, your genetics are set right then. So you're not going to turn it on or turn it off. I mean, well, you could turn it down, but you're not going to make it go away or make one happen.
Yep,
right?
That's right.
Am I right?
Your genes are set.
They're set.
You can't change the gene sequence. You can only change genetic expression.
Yes.
You can't change what your genes are. But like, I would suggest this, though, Brooklyn, Megan,
and 3 foods.
And 3 foods. Megan, if you had that, and I need to talk to you, Megan. I need to call you. I do remember that.
Everybody needs to talk to and 3 foods.
If it came back negative, you're still having symptoms, then that's when you need to look at other cycles, like the nitric oxide cycle, MTHFR cycles. They're different cycles, not just MTHFR. That's where you sort of look into those pathways, because we'll find people that don't have MTHFR, and that homocysteine pathway or the CBS pathway, that could be where you're screwed up at. And really, you could have a perfectly working MTHFR, but if you can't flush that junk out, that's another question. We could read into that. Laura, does genetic genie explain 23andMe results? Yes.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yes. Yep.
Do you know these other people?
Chris.
Hey, that's my name.
Chris Jordan. Yeah.
That's my name anyway.
No, those are terrible for you. Goodness gracious.
No, but are they the ones that are like the peanut butter and the cocoa?
Oh yeah, those are the good ones.
Man,
my goodness, yes.
Oh man.
Yes, it'll be available for later viewing. So, and you can share it. You can do whatever you want to with it. Delete it, what have you.
If you're giving give family B12 methylcobalamin, even though I have no idea if they have MTHFR.
Yeah, Marcy, I do. Why not just give them methylcobalamin? I mean, but if they don't have an MTHFR, they are fine on straight up cheap cyanocobalamin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the straight up Nature Made, and I don't recommend Nature Made for the most part, but they're fine with plain cyanocobalamin. Mm-hmm. They don't have to buy the expensive methyl B12 because that's $36. But this is 2 months worth, and it is high dose, 5,000 micrograms, so 5 milligrams of B12.
5 grams.
Yeah, it's a lot of B12.
Keep an eye on yourself. If you do a B vitamin, you find any symptoms come up, then change the form. That's the biggest thing you can do. Kim, I have given up gluten, but did you say eggs and dairy too that you're doing?
Yes, you need to give up gluten. Yes. So what are the top 7 foods in the United States that cause people inflammation? Gluten, dairy, soy, corn, sugar, eggs, and peanuts. Those are the top 7 that I cut out of people's lives for a solid month. And then we reintroduce those back in. Many times people say, holy cow, eggs, gluten, dairy, sugar. Those were big ones right there. Those 4 are huge. Do you find that in your practice?
Completely.
And eggs. People go, eggs, that's the most perfect protein out there. I eat eggs every day. I eat 2 or 3 eggs a day. Well, cut them out and see what happens. Lots of time.
You are right. She's talking to me. She's telling me, because remember I told you I love to have, guys, a hard fried egg, and everybody said do the yolk. But I also know that when I did the yolk, I sort of felt that. I would do a cup of black coffee, and I had my egg. I thought I was being healthy, and I do the egg, and I would have the weirdest headaches and throat pain. I'm not every day,
eggs.
And I thought it was the coffee, so I gave it the coffee, and then I kept eating the eggs, and then she gave me the test, and she called me up and goes, she texted me, she goes, "You're not gonna like me at all." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, I got worse. She goes, "You're not going to like this." And I knew she just loved to say that. I get my test back. I mean, I couldn't eat any beef or eggs or anything. But you know what? I stopped eating it, and I felt fantastic. Like I didn't have any more inflammation in my gut.
Yeah, then you dang near died last month. So a lot of good I did for him.
Stop it. You know that you're a little bright sunshine in my day. Okay, so if methyl B vitamins make you tired, try hydroxy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Timing that they have from Zymogen, that's a B1. You can try thiamine. I don't want to get too complicated. B1s are also good to help with the processing of B12, but I'd say try the hydroxy and adenylyl cobalamin. That's a good one too. Try that.
Yep.
How many milligrams of SAMe do you recommend for depression?
Oh my gosh. Oh, Kelly. I don't know. I use pure encapsulation SAMe, and I'm not quite sure what the milligrams. I've got to look that up. I'll look it up and I'll let you know.
That's another thing. Like when we test kinesiology testing, I've had people that do high amounts for a short period of time or low amounts for a long period of time. Honestly, that'd be patient specific. Very much so. It's all patient specific.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody's biochemistry is so off because you could have somebody that eats sugar all day and they're going to have completely different readings than somebody who doesn't. My 13-year-old son is homozygous and has cut out gluten, but sugar and dairy are vital to eliminate too.
Yes. Oh, sugar for darn sure. And if you're watching the Broken Brain series right now, those of you that are watching it, sugar. They're saying you cut all sugar out.
Yeah.
You cut the sugar out. It is the white devil, white flour, the white milk, the white sugar. Cut it out.
Cut it out. And
cut it out.
True.
It is extremely inflammatory.
And I wish you guys could see what we see in the office. We'll have people that come in and literally cut out all forms of sugar, and you would not believe some of the results they get just from cutting that, to the point where some people, if that's like changing their diet, changing what they eat, they really don't need us sometimes after a while because all that inflammation's gone and their body has now the energy to run the processes that it was robbed because we keep eating the inflammatory agents. And that's, I'm talking to myself too. So, she's telling you right.
Oh, Harlan's snoring. I don't know if y'all can hear you.
Oh, Audra, we love you too. Okay, so what have did I say anything?
All right, it's been an hour.
It's been an hour.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Should you watch natural sugars the same way like fruit? I say watch them, but they're different. I mean, that's a natural God-made sugar. Now, again, it can be inflammatory, right? But it's not as inflammatory to most people as a packaged, processed, bagged, canned sugar.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Because
I mean, you eat a Pop-Tart versus a Honeycrisp apple or a pineapple with lots of sugar. I'm sorry, but all calories are not the same.
No.
All sugar is not the same.
Not at all. And I think it'd be like something like if
Blueberry Pop-Tarts.
Oh, stop it.
Look, toasted with butter.
Chocolate s'mores.
Oh, no, I didn't like the chocolate s'mores. I like the blueberry ones. I could eat a whole box of the dang things.
Oh, me and Dr. Crystal Rodenbach, we were talking about the other day. We were talking about like what we like to eat. Like, remember toaster strudels?
Well, yeah, remember toaster strudels?
I would get so mad if my brother and sister, like Rob, like they took like, extra ones. I was like, that was my strawberry toaster strudel.
Yeah, no, so my mom wouldn't buy them then because I'd eat the whole thing. I eat the whole thing. I mean, I don't have any control. Yeah, it's like that. So anyway, we're going to answer your questions, but I know it's been an hour and I know the game's on. Oh Lord, 38-7. The Eagles. Yeah. So that's we're way more entertaining than that. But anyway,
we are.
We'll answer your questions. MTHFR. 30-50% of the population has got a mutation. They don't know it. I say pretend like you know, pretend like you have it. It's kind of like celiac disease. I tell people, Jackson, it's just like finding out the APOE4 gene for Alzheimer's disease. Do you want to know about that? Well, Jackson says no. My son says no. Mom, don't find out. Just live like you're going to get it, right? Just clean it up. Clean it up. There's not a toaster strudel out there that is worth going back and feeling the way that I used to feel. I'm not going to do it. Exactly. I'm not going to do it anymore. I mean, if I'm going to cheat, it is going to be something better than a Krispy Kreme donut and a toaster strudel. And those are all great things, but they are not where I'm going to go down if I'm going to cheat. But you are your genetics, but you do not have to turn those on. And what you turn on, you can turn off. But it takes hard work. And again, I am such a big believer in setting boundaries, right?
Yep. And you're looking at me.
Yes. And decreasing stress.
Yes.
And, eating well, going to bed, having good sleep hygiene, all of these things that are connected to MTHFR as well, right? Because if you don't detox properly, if you don't methylate properly, all of these things are harder, right? It's even more important for you, for darn sure, to clean everything up. Correct?
Correct.
Am I right or wrong?
I agree completely. Like, I would say that if you're watching tonight, it is just for your information and for your peace of mind. I would just suggest to do like an Ancestry.com or find like Chad Yarbrough was having. There's certain services out there that tell you have MTHFR mutations, but getting the Ancestry.com, finding out where you're from, and then seeing if you have MTHFR, which gives you peace of mind, because to know that you have these symptoms and then there's an explanation behind it, and you have defective genes, who wouldn't want to know that? It's not for fear, it's for empowerment. It's
it is.
It's like gives you the power to go, if this is occurring, then there are ways. Danny's website, my website, or just information on the net about what to take or what you can start trying to help curb these and turn these genes off.
That's right.
So
that's right.
It's an empowering thing. So
it is. So next week we're not here, and I feel so sad that we're not going to be here. But we're going to make up for it on February the 4th, because we're going to be talking about sex. Who's getting it, or who's getting it? Good Lord, who's doing it? Who's not? Why aren't you? Why is your sex drive low? What creates a low sex drive? Why do you lose your sex drive when you've had a really healthy sex drive your whole life? We're going to be talking about all that. This is my thing. I love this, and I talk about it with my patients all the time. And it's way more than just your hormones. I can tell you that.
I'm good. Is it okay if I bring popcorn?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to have popcorn, and I'm just going to be like this and be like.
Yeah, he's going to be horrified, because I love this topic and I think it's important. And I'm not married, but if I had somebody in my bed with me, I'm telling you, I'd be ready to go. Yeah, it's been 15 years since I've been married. So, but anyway, February 4th, we're talking about sex. This Friday night, the Hashimoto support group meeting is going to be at 6:30 at Nashville Restorative Dentistry. So I hope you guys can be there that have Hashimoto's, or if you know friends who have Hashimoto's, anybody can come to it. Dr. Gillian Guin, who's a chiropractor, is going to be talking about living your best life the next 100 years. And I love what she has to say. I love her. I've known her for a long time. So guys, we appreciate you, and I love all the hearts, and we love you. And we're so happy you guys turned in. I'm so grateful that we just brainstormed one night and decided to do this. We're both out in public a lot, and people come up to us and say, we just love what y'all do. Oh. It floors me that you all are watching on Sunday nights. It really is humbling.
It is humbling.
And I feel so grateful.
Me too. I'm so appreciative. And I can speak for us. I like it because there's interaction between us, and that because we can't speak to everybody all the time in the office all day.
That's right.
But we can say something to everybody, and we feel like there's family and a connection. And
it's
fun. And
it's really neat. I love it.
You always trip me out, because you really, truly, I don't say to blow up our head, but when we talk about inflammation and when we talk about foods we used to eat, to show your journey in itself is an inspiration, as in you can show that you can heal yourself just by finding the right steps and being disciplined.
That's right.
And it challenges me, and we hope that it challenges you, and we can feed off each other.
That's right.
We have fun though, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We have a ball. I love it. I love what I do. I love what I do for a living. And if you weren't at the detox seminar on Thursday night, you missed a great night. It was great. We only had 15 people there, and there were 20 something that had signed up, but the weather was cold, but somebody got a free detox. I love what I do, and I hope that you guys can see it. And I know you love what you do. And we have such a good team, because I'm intelligent, but I'm not methylation intelligent. I couldn't speak the whole pathway to you. So anyway, if you guys have ideas on shows that you want in the future.
You're so whatever. I could have a whole paragraph of saying something, and people will be like, I don't know what you're saying. And she can say one line, and they're like, oh, I got that.
Yeah, because I'm the provider for the.
You are the master.
I dumb it down so that we can all understand it.
But we love all you guys.
All right, guys. You guys have a great night. We ran over tonight. Have a great night. Have a great week. Do not get up tomorrow morning and fly like crazy to get out the door. Get up early enough to take a break, to breathe, if you read the Bible, maybe to have a devotional, to do a little bit of yoga, to deep breathe, get your coffee done tonight, do as much as you can tonight so you're not crazy tomorrow morning. It is so important.
That's right. Remember,
you start your whole day. The whole tone of your day starts before you ever get out the door in the morning.
Exactly right. That Monday morning coronary research is one day that sets the tone for the rest of the week.
You bet. And it's the #1 day for heart attacks as well, by the way, by 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Monday mornings is the #1 time for the week for patients to have heart attacks. Oh, my goodness. Everybody's stressed.
Everybody's stressed to get back. Remember, it's that epigenetics. Remember, speak life, do your prayers, do your meditation, speak life over yourself.
That's right.
If you can do coffee, which I can't do.
Which I can. So I'm going to go fix mine right now for tomorrow. All right, guys. We love you.
Love
Have
you guys.
a great night.
Bye.